So tonight we are going to start coming down onto our bellies, bringing arms out to cactus arms, and bringing that right knee up to that right elbow. Heads looking out to the right, bringing left chin, left temple to the mat. Just beginning to breathe in, checking in with this mind, body, and heart. Seeing what thoughts we're bringing with us on the mat tonight. What physical sensations we have in this body. What emotions are coming up. Allowing any worries and anxieties to pass. Allowing any lists in our head to go. Breathing into this hip opener or half round. And then if we'd like to add on a twist, straightening that left arm alongside our body and turning our head, landing temple and right cheek onto the mat. Just seeing how it feels. Knowing you don't have to stay there. You can always come back to the other side. Checking in with what feels best for you. Beginning to observe that breath. Allowing that belly to expand into the mat as you inhale. Allowing it to fall back into the spine as you exhale. Maybe breathing in a little bit longer than usual. Pausing in between breaths in and out. And then exhaling even longer than the inhale. Elongating this breath that way. Beginning to think of an intention for your practice. Maybe it's something you're looking to find. Maybe it's something you're looking to release. Knowing no matter what it is, whatever is needed will come to you. Then taking a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it away. Then if that left arm is extended out long, bringing it back to that cactus arm. Taking that right knee long and back on the mat. Then bending that left knee up to that left elbow. Left cheek, left temple, look out to the left. Or sorry, right cheek, right elbow. Right cheek and right temple, look out to the left. Landing on your mat. Breathing here. Knowing that our yoga is more than just poses. It's more than just focusing on that breath. There are different guideposts throughout yoga practices. And one of those guideposts is non-attachment. Learning what you can let go of. And starting to see what you can let go of in this pose. Making sure you're not holding your breath. Letting that go. Taking those deep breaths in and out. Maybe letting go of an expectation of where you should be in this pose or how it should feel. And if you want to add that twist on, extending that right arm alongside your body and turning the head, bringing that left cheek, left temple down onto the mat, looking out to the right. Knowing you don't need to be there. You can always come back to where you were before. Taking a few more breaths here. And letting go. Just being. Feeling that belly expand into the mat. And then if that right arm is alongside, bringing it back up, extending that left leg long, shaking it out. Bringing hands under those shoulders and coming up slightly. Then bringing those elbows down to under shoulders. Coming into that Sphinx pose. Getting that compression for this low back. Elbows are directly under shoulders. Feet can either come closer together or farther apart for more ease. You can also walk hands out a little bit and allow that head to fall into the shoulders for our seal pose. Just checking in with what feels best for this low back, for this compression this evening. Again, letting go of what you think it should be. Breathing here. Knowing with everything going on right now, and staying home to allow the community to be safe, letting go of our expectations around that. Allowing yourself this time, this hour on your mat, to just be. Less than a moment left here. Keep breathing. Getting that deep compression for this low back that's so good for us from sitting in chairs and on couches, slouching at our desks. Breathing right here. And then if arms are out long and at seal, bringing them back in, pushing into those hands, taking those hips to the heels, into that child's pose. Bringing forehead down. Arms can come along, extended in front of us, or come along our sides. Do whatever feels best for us this evening. Continuing to breathe here. Continuing to let go of what we can. Allowing our breath to guide us. Allowing ourselves to just begin to check in with all of those attachments we may have. Another moment here. And as we begin to think of those attachments we have, I invite you to ask yourself if there are any you're willing to let go of. Not placing any judgment on what those attachments are or whether you want to let go of them or not. Just observe. Just allow yourself this check-in. And taking 2 more breaths right here. Bringing those hands under the shoulders, coming up into that tabletop position. Making sure wrists are under shoulders. Knees are under those hips. We're going to inhale that right arm up. Exhale, thread it underneath that left arm. Hover here. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale, thread it under the left. This time land right shoulder, right temple. Seeing what you need to do with that left arm, knowing it can always stay grounded. It can come alongside your body. It can even drop and bend back. If it's grounded, maybe seeing if you can walk that hand out to the right corner. Just checking in here. See where you need to go with this. Going to your edge and not beyond, listening to your body. Letting go of the ego telling you to go farther. Coming back to that breath, coming back to those attachments. Beginning to think, are there any expectations that I could let go of? And then thinking of what expectations you can let go of, begin to see what that might feel like. Each breath out, letting one go. Seeing if you feel lighter, if you feel freer. Continuing to focus on this breath in this threaded needle. Breathing into our shoulders. Getting that deep stretch. Bringing the calm to this body. Bringing the calm to this mind and the peace to this heart. Less than a moment left here. Knowing you can do this. Letting go of the voice that says you can't. Continuing to focus on that breath. Almost there. Just a few more breaths right here. And then if that left arm is bent behind, bringing it back down, rounding that left hand and inhaling that right arm back up to the ceiling. Landing that right wrist, making sure it's stacked underneath that shoulder. Then inhaling that left arm up. Exhale, threading it under the right, hovering it above the floor. Inhale that left arm back up. Exhale, thread it under the right. This time, land that left shoulder, land that left temple. Seeing what you need to do on this side with that right hand. Knowing you can stay grounded. You can walk out to the left side. You can even come alongside or bend and fall back behind you. Checking in here with what you need. Can you continue to focus on that breath? Can you feel it? Continuing to allow yourself to let go of those attachments. Maybe it's attachments to plans. Are you able to let them pass? Are you able to breathe them out? Are you able to just be here on your mat? Continuing to come back to that breath, coming back to breathing into those shoulders, giving yourself this release. Just another moment here. Giving yourself this deep stretch. Detaching from the expectations of how this should feel. We are all built differently. No matter how much I can guide you with where you may feel it, you could be feeling it in an entirely different place. Sending the breath to where you need this most. Taking that look within, back to those attachments. And taking 2 more breaths right here. And if that right arm is bent behind, bringing it down, pushing that hand into the mat and raising that left arm up to the ceiling. Then bringing that hand down, swinging those legs out in front of you, coming into a comfortable seat on your mat. And from here, we're going to work into that neck a bit. First, starting by just rolling those shoulders back 3 times. And then rolling those shoulders forward 3 times. And then allowing right ear to right shoulder. Eyes can close for ease. Focusing on that breath, seeing if you can drop that left shoulder down even more. Breathing into the outside of that left neck. And then taking a breath in. Exhale that head over heart, taking left ear to left shoulder. Dropping that right shoulder down a bit more. Breathing here. Sending the breath to the outside of that right neck now. And then taking a breath in. Exhale, head over heart. Taking right ear to right shoulder again. This time, extending that right arm out, turning the palm up to face the ceiling, and allowing it to just lightly land on that head, not pushing or pulling it down, just allowing gravity to take over to get a little bit more for that neck stretch. Allowing that hand to come down. Exhale, head over heart. Taking that left ear to left shoulder again. Extending the left arm out this time. Turning the palm to face the ceiling. And then taking that left hand to the top of the left head. Again, not pulling the neck down. Just adding a little weight here. And breathing. And then allowing that hand to come down. Bring the head back to center, switching up those feet so the opposite leg is in front of the other this time. And from here, taking that right ear to right shoulder again. Exhaling, head over heart, inhaling the head back, adding these full circles, doing a few in this direction. And then switching it up and adding a few in the opposite direction. And then once feeling balanced, no need to rush to get there, coming back to center. We're going to do a breathing exercise tonight, a pranayama. It's our hatha breath. So we are going to take our right hand and we're going to take the index finger and the middle finger and fold them down. So we're going to be using our ring finger and our thumb to close off our nostrils. We're going to inhale through one nostril, close it off, exhale through the other. Then we're going to inhale through that one, close it off, exhale through the other. And it's just going to be easy breaths in and out. I'll count to a count of 4 for each side. So taking just a deep breath in to start. Exhale through the nose. Then inhale. Closing that right side off. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close it off. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close it off. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close it off. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close it off. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close it off. Exhale through the right. One more round. Inhale through the right. Close it off. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close it off. Exhale through the right. Bringing hand down, bringing that breath back to its normal place. And from here, walking those hands out in front, Taking those knees back under those hips into that tabletop position again, and just doing a couple cat-cows here. Exhaling, arching that back up. Inhaling, allowing that belly to fall, head and heart to rise. Exhale, arch that back up. Inhale, allow belly, head, and heart to rise. Doing 2 of those to your breath. And then when ready, meeting up in that comfortable tabletop position, that neutral spine again. And swinging those legs out back in front. From here, we're going to extend that right leg out long. Bring the bottom of that right sole to the inside of that right thigh. Turning to look out over that right leg. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at those hips as you start to fold over that long right leg. Dropping those shoulders, even if it means walking those hands back closer to your body. Breathing here. Coming back to those attachments. And just checking in. Maybe you're attached to a habit. Is there anything that you can think of that you may be willing to let go of? During this time where there may be some habits we can't even practice. Do we need to resume them? Breathing here. And as you think of these habits you can let go of, checking to see where you feel this in your body. Knowing that our body also carries these emotions with us. As we breathe into this right leg, are you feeling it in your hamstrings? Maybe the calf, maybe your glutes, maybe even your back. Knowing these are just suggestions on where you may feel it. Everyone's body is different. Continuing to breathe here. Just another moment. Knowing you can do this. Focusing on that breath. And even though we're considering what we can detach from, we're just making observations. We're not passing judgments. We're not getting caught up in the rabbit holes and spiraling down into the thoughts of them. We're just acknowledging them and letting them pass. Taking just a few more breaths right here. And then slowly walking those hands back up. Taking that right hand to the outside of the left knee and coming into a small twist. Coming back to center. Bringing the bottoms of both soles together into our cobblers or butterfly pose. Inhaling. Then exhale, hinge at those hips and then fold forward. Getting a deep stretch for those inner thighs here. What more can we release from this body? allowing each exhale to not only help us in our poses and help us get deeper, but to allow us to detach from those things that no longer serve us. Thinking if there are any resentments we can let go of. Knowing that they never really serve us. Allowing them to release from the mind, from the heart, and from this body. Seeing if as you do that, you can get a little deeper in this pose. Breathing here. And you have less than a moment left. Sending the breath to where you feel this in your body. And taking 2 more breaths right here. Slowly starting to come back up. Bringing the knees together and feet out to the sides of the mat just for a counter stretch. Taking a couple breaths right here. And then walking those feet back to center, extending legs out wide. Knowing you can always bring hands behind you or coming to sit on a block or a blanket or pillow before setting up and then breathing in. Exhale, walk those hands out in front of you into that wide forward fold. Walking out as far as you can go. And then just breathing in here. First, checking in with that body and where you feel it. Making that observation. Staying present. And then after observing those physical sensations, maybe it's in the backs of the legs, maybe it's in that low back, or the glutes, or all of it. Knowing we may not be moving our bodies as much as we used to. Allowing that to be okay. And then checking in with that mind. Are you still here on your mat? Are you still focusing on that breath? And checking in with that heart. How are you feeling right now? Knowing it's okay regardless of what emotion comes up. Continuing to send that breath to wherever you need it, whether it's the physical body, the mental body, or the emotional body. Breathing here. Letting go of what you can. Letting go for any expectations in this pose as to when it may even end. You're almost there. You can do this. Keep breathing. You've got 2 more breaths right here. And then slowly starting to walk it back up. Bringing that right foot to the inside of that left leg this time. Turning to face that left leg. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling, folding over that left leg. Dropping those shoulders, even if that means walking those hands back. Trying to keep those left toes flexed. And breathing here. What if we begin to detach from the negative? Much like we clean out a pantry or a closet. What if we clean out the negative from our thoughts? And we do this in our yoga in twists as we help move those toxins out of our body with these other poses. But what if we do that with our minds too? So I invite you to begin to let go of that which no longer serves you. Begin letting go of that inner critic. The one who's always telling you you can't, or you're not good enough. Release it. Detach from it. Knowing that it doesn't help you. And you no longer need it. Just another moment here. Letting go of that inner critic that says you can't do this. You can. Continue to breathe right here. Allowing that belly to expand as you breathe in. Allowing it to come back to your spine as you exhale out. Letting go of those negative thoughts. letting go the negative critic. Taking 2 more breaths right here. Slowly starting to walk it back up, taking that left hand to the outside of the right knee and turning out to the right for a counter stretch here. And then coming back to center. Grounding those hands into the mat, bringing that left leg back and coming back into that tabletop position, making sure wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips, then tuck those toes, raise those hips, come up into down dog. Maybe lift one heel at a time. Shaking that head out, no. Nodding the head, yes. Then raising that right leg, point the toe, flex the foot, add a circle in each direction. And then bringing that right knee to the inside of that right wrist. Making sure that that right foot is facing out to the left and that is not underneath us to protect our knee. When ready, making sure that that back left knee is down and grounded. Inhaling, head up. Exhale, begin to walk those hands out in front of us, maybe using hands as pillows. Knowing we can always tuck a blanket or pillow underneath that right hip for more support. And breathing here in our pigeon pose into these hips. Continuing to allow that belly to expand into those legs. And exhale back into the spine. Continuing to let go of what you can. What can you soften in this body? Can you soften those shoulders back and down? Can you add some ease into this deep hip stretch? Knowing a lot of emotions are stored in our hips and they may be coming up, maybe not. Just allowing yourself to observe what you feel. Continuing to breathe here. And I invite you to let go of your negative expectations. And by those, it's sometimes the perfection we strive for. We expect it. And that doesn't serve us because nothing is ever perfect. Much of life is just a practice, like our yoga. Yoga is a practice. There's no perfect pose. We're just practicing. Allowing ourselves to let go of those perfect expectations and breathing right here. Less than a moment left. You can do this. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to detach from the negative. And then slowly bringing that head up, pushing hands into the mat, taking those hands underneath those shoulders, tucking that back left toes, and taking that right leg to the ceiling, kicking it out, doing what you need to do to work out that pigeon pose. And when ready, landing those right toes. Inhaling that left leg up, point the toes, flex the foot, add a circle in each direction, then taking that left knee to the inside of that left wrist, making sure that the bottom of the left foot is pointing out to the right and not back behind you. Grounding that right knee. When ready, inhaling, exhale, fold forward. Knowing each side is different. Maybe you need to stay up a bit and coming onto your forearms on this side. Maybe you need to bring a pillow or blanket in front of you and lay on that. Maybe you need a pillow or blanket for under this hip, whereas you didn't before. Knowing that there's no wrong answer in yoga. It's just listening to our body and doing what it needs. Going to your edge and never beyond. Breathing here. Continuing to detach from those negative expectations. Continuing to observe what arises when we think about it. And with each breath, allowing yourself to breathe in positive and to breathe out that negative. Again, seeing if you can get deeper as you exhale. Seeing if you can soften those shoulders. And while we do hold our poses for a longer time in our yin practice, we are not here forever. We will move out of this. Allow your body this time to get this deep stretch into your fascia, into your tendons and ligaments. Giving yourself the breath and the time to just be. You've got less than a moment left here. Keep breathing. Then slowly starting to come back up. This time we're going to bring those hands underneath us as we come up and bring that right knee forward. Swinging the legs around, planting those feet, and then swishing the knees from side to side, adding those wiper blades. Working that out, maybe kicking out those legs, doing whatever you need to do to release that pigeon. And then once ready, we're going to bend those knees, hold on to the backs of our thighs, And slowly, one vertebra at a time, make our way down to lying on our backs, on our mat, extending legs out long, arms up overhead. We're going to take those legs out to the right, keeping hips grounded. And then we're going to take our arms out to the right as well, keeping shoulders grounded. Maybe holding on to a forearm or wrist, maybe crossing an ankle on top of each other, knowing it does not matter which ankle. Breathing here in our banana pose into that left side body. Continuing to focus on that breath. And I invite you to detach from any anxieties or worries you may have. Knowing that no amount of anxiety or worry will change anything. So it does not serve you. Seeing if you are willing and able to let them go. Maybe even thanking them for making you aware. But then letting them pass. Not getting carried away with anything that may come up. Just observe it and let it go. Coming back to that breath if the mind ever starts to wander. Allowing that belly to rise as you inhale and fall back into the spine as you exhale. Less than a moment left here. Then if ankles are crossed, uncrossing them, letting go of that wrist, coming back to center, and then taking those legs out to the left, shoulders out to the left as well. Keeping those hips and shoulders grounded, seeing if we want to cross ankles or hold on to a wrist. Breathing in to that right side this time. Continuing to stay present. Continuing to detach from anything that no longer serves us. Whether it was anything that was suggested or something else that came up. When you're not here for too long. Continuing to focus on that breath. You're more than halfway there. Is there anything else you can release? Less than a moment left. Breathing in something positive. Breathing out what no longer serves you. Taking 2 more breaths. Right here. Then uncrossing ankles, uncrossing wrists, bending knees, and hugging them into your chest, adding a rock on that back. And then holding on, taking those feet to aim to the ceiling, holding on to either calves, ankles, or the bottoms of those feet, bringing those knees closer to those shoulders. Into our happy baby pose. Getting one last hip opener this practice. Breathing here for just a few moments. Knowing sometimes with small inversions like this, it can be harder to breathe. Can you continue to elongate that breath? Continue to allow that chest and belly to rise and then fall back into the spine as you exhale. Knowing you don't need to pull down on those feet or ankles, that gravity will take over, so allow yourself some ease here. One more minute. You can do this. Continuing to let go of where we're going next and just being here in this pose. And then slowly beginning to add movement, maybe bringing one leg in and extending one leg out, rocking on that back. And when ready, bringing the soles of the feet to that mat. Taking that right leg to the ceiling, point the toe, flex the foot, add a circle in each direction. Then crossing, leg over leg, so thigh is touching thigh, bumping hips 1 inch out to the right, taking arms out to a T or cactus arms, depending on how much room you have, and allowing the knees to fall out to the left. Head can stay centered or look out to the right. As we breathe here into our cross-leg twist, and there's a great quote by Brene Brown that I love. I love everything Brene Brown, but this quote really matches up with the detachment and letting go of what no longer serves us. And in it, she says, let go of who you think you are. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be. And just be who you are. So letting go of those should haves or supposed to's. Just be yourself. Allowing this time on your mat to get back with yourself, to connect with yourself. Taking just one more breath right here. Then bringing those knees back up to center, uncrossing those legs, adding those wiper blades. And when ready, extending that left leg up here. Point the toe, flex the foot, add a circle in each direction. Crossing left leg over the right, so thigh is touching thigh. Again, bumping those hips 1 inch out to the left, and then allowing those knees to fall out to the right. Balancing out. That twist. What more can we let go of this hour? Is there any place we can soften? Knowing that as we continue to detach, our bodies are releasing so much here in this twist. We're releasing out a lot of stuff that no longer serves our bodies. We're giving it that space to take in what it needs. Taking one more breath right here. And then bringing those knees back up, uncrossing those legs. Maybe adding those wiper blades or bringing knees to chest and giving yourself a hug, rocking on this back. When ready, extending legs out long on your mat. Legs out wide, feet flopping out to the side, setting up for our final relaxation, our Shavasana. Hands coming along the sides of our body a few inches away, palms facing up to the ceiling. As we begin to release, to surrender and ground this whole body, we accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. Releasing from toes to crown. We relax these feet. Releasing through the toes and spaces between them. Through the bottoms and tops of these feet. We release through ankles, shins, and calves. We release through all parts of these knees. We release through the quadriceps, hamstrings, and all parts of these thighs. We release through the pelvic bone and hips, allowing this lower body to sink deeper into the mat. We release through abdomen and back, low back, mid back, and upper back are cradled into this mat. We release through the chest, lungs, and heart. Relaxing through these hands. We release through the fingertips and webbing between them. Through these palms and tops of the hands. We release through the wrists and forearms. Relaxing all parts of these elbows. We release through the upper arms, shoulders, and neck. Relaxing all facial muscles. The tongue falls to the bottom of the mouth, lips part slightly, and cheeks hollow. We release through the forehead and scalp. This whole body is grounded and cradled in this mat. We release from roots to crown. We surrender. Keeping eyes closed, we slowly begin to awaken this body, wiggling fingertips and toes, rocking wrists, ankles, gently allowing that head to rock from side to side. Then bringing feet together, knees to chest, hugging those knees in and giving yourself a rock on that back. And then rocking over to a fetal position on the right side, using arms as pillows. Checking in one more time this hour with that mind, body, and heart. Checking back in with that intention you set at the beginning of practice. And checking in to see with what you can detach from. Then pushing into the floor, making your way to a seated position, bringing hands to prayer pose at heart center. Finding one more thing you can release. And we'll release it together by taking a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it away. Thank you for coming to your mats tonight and allowing me to guide you through yoga. The light shining from me reflects the light shining from each and every one of you. Namaste.